Welcome into another episode of Coffee and Chel. It's a big one because we've got yet another patch coming to NHL 26. However, for this one, it actually really improves a lot of the quality of life issues going on in Hockey Ultimate Team. So, the official patch notes have not come out at the time of this recording. However, it looks like it went live a little early, and some people were able to screenshot, and I found this one on Reddit. So, here are the updates that are coming to Hockey Ultimate Team, and from everything I've seen, fantastic. So number one, multiple captains. Players can now include multiple captains in their lineup and designate one as active. This is gigantic, especially for anyone that has the Connor McDavid Pacific Division one because of the cost and how hard it was to get the 6 Pacific Division players if you kind of had like a meta team. The ability now to have Connor McDavid's captain card in the lineup, even if you didn't have a top-end team. Let's say you're just a casual player and decided to make Connor McDavid because you could. Now you have the option to make Yossi to pair with other Central Division players, which is really the popular division, I think, when it comes to just like, again, the competitive player base. And now you can have Yossi on your team, activate him as the main captain so that you get the +5 AP boost, but then also use McDavid's captain card. Or if you don't have Yossi, you could use Miro Heiskanen or any other card that you want in your lineup. The captain cards are very good cards individually, and the ability now to use multiple has been something that a lot of people, myself included, have been asking for. So I absolutely love this. I think it's great, not just from a team building standpoint, but just I want to be able to use more of these cards. The captain cards are fantastic. Like McAvoy as a card by itself, paired with Chara, is really interesting. Now you can do that, right? So I love that, and it looks like we're getting multiple captains now in Hockey Ultimate Team. Second, set management. Multi-select functionality has been added to improve how players manage hut sets. I'm glad that they're not just like not doing this and then adding it to the game next year and making it some feature that they promote when it was really just a system that was broken and now they're fixing it. So they're re-adding multi-select to the game. So now when you are completing sets, instead of having to do it like autofill, remove the ones that you don't want and then manually selecting them, you can now do what we used to be able to do where you click a set and you want to avoid certain cards. You can now multi-select, and just a quality of life improvement that shouldn't have needed to be an improvement. It was already in the game since like NHL 20. So love that that is now fixed. Multi-select is huge. Doesn't look like there's any update on a storage set. I know that is going to be one of the main asked questions. So for now, just multi-select being back, which is great. Inbox access. Players can now quickly access their inbox directly from the set screen. This is big because it allows you to immediately go to the inbox once you've created a player, as opposed to going through like you have to get back to like the main menu to get to the inbox after you're in sets. It was just kind of a broken pathway. So that's something that isn't massive, but an improvement for sure. And then lastly, numerous bug fixes. The update addresses issues with chemistry, salary cap calculations, lineup, cup chase, rewards, and the auction house. From my understanding, I believe this is the AP fix, so I'm hoping to see a fix in which when you change your lineup, you don't have to completely change the AP of your players. I hope that's what that means. It isn't really in detail. It's very vague in that sense, but this is huge. Absolutely love it, and specifically the captain's one, I think that should have been how it was in the beginning. Again, having one captain activated, and then just being able to use other captain cards in your lineup. I think that's the right way to go, and I'm happy that's getting added back into the game. I do want to do an update on the Faceoff event. I get a lot of questions about this. In my rankings video, guys, I talked about this. I think that a lot of players, if you're a hardcore player, and you're not sure what to do with this event, I would do everything in my power to try and get Sidney Crosby's card because he's kind of the key that activates the +6 overall boost. And remember that once this event is done, you can no longer build any of the master set player items. So you want to make sure, in my opinion, get Sidney Crosby. When it comes to using the collectibles, if you are someone that plays a lot, you have a lot of collection, things like that, I would use all your collectibles on the 85 account bound set. Now, this might sound kind of counterintuitive and goes against everything that I've said in the past because account bound players offer no value once you've made them because other than using them in your lineup. You're able to get some pretty great cards that fit multiple abilities, and regardless, there will always be, at least for season 1, there will be a wild card lineup combo. 2 of them. Well, 3 of them, technically, 1 for defense. So no matter what, it'll give you just some flexibility, and there's some great options. Like getting Matthew Nyes, for example, is gigantic because, again, he's one of the top-end ones that can give you a +6 boost, and it's something that I would recommend. So that being said, let's get into the comments and questions for today's video. We'll start with Avs Knight. He says, if I'm being honest, all these line chemistry combinations are getting to be too much. I can't keep up. I wish it were more simplified, consistent. Here's what I mean. A simple any one team, 3 forwards, 2 defensemen for an upgrade. First time, +2 overall. Second time, another offensive defensive line, +5 AP. Third, +5 mil. Fourth, nothing. Same for nation, collection, etc. I love this. Again, I think when everyone thought that chemistries were coming back, this is what they would look like, right? Where you could build an entire lineup of Toronto Maple Leafs or Sharks or Calgary Flames, and you would get a pretty significant boost that would allow you to use that team online or against far higher overall teams. And I will say I'm pleasantly surprised with the format they chose. I would have never thought of it. And I do like the random line combinations, but I think it would just work better if they were on top of the blanket, plus whatever overall for every team. Because then that at least allows us to make some specific lines for our favorite teams and players. Each icon, hero, captain should either come with a random boost for being anywhere in the lineup or a specific boost for each player. Yes, captains give AP, but would be interesting if there was some variation. Even if it was +1 AP, +1 million, +1 overall, per those in that division, would make for fun theme teams. For instance, in FIFA, a single icon anywhere in your lineup massively boosts chemistry on the team. I do think that is interesting. I think the icons represent some of the best players of all time, and I think that would actually be really fun. Like old FIFA days, after a certain amount of games, your player would get a loyalty +1 chemistry boost. Could be a cool feature here, where after a certain amount of games or other objectives, your player gives some kind of, I think for sure, that's like a story mode kind of thing within your team. I would love that. So if a player, that's the parallel system. It's XP earned by that specific card, boost their overall. That would be awesome in my opinion. New combos. Yes. Should come with each season, but I don't want a list of 50 offensive combos to scroll through by the end of it. If event combos reset after each event ends, then yeah, the list would be cleaner, but then there would be no point of holding on to event cards. I actually think this might be why they didn't release a ton of combos. Like, it's funny you mentioned this, that it's confusing, because I do agree. Even for myself, who plays the game every day, it has now become a little bit confusing, but I will accept that over the lack of it. But I think that's why they held off making a ton of combos, to try and not scare away and make things too complicated. But we'll see. Maybe break it up better. Like maybe show it on the screen in a better way. I think there's UI improvements that could be done to make it simpler. Side note edition, Evos. Madden and FIFA have evolutions where you upgrade certain players. Could be cool for HUT. We had Evos, and how they worked was essentially team of the year and team of the season mechanics, where anytime a new card came out for that player, they would go and meet that overall. The problem is that NHL, they don't upgrade those players at all really anymore. So overall, what I'm trying to say is that I want a system to be simpler yet diverse with predictable patterns so you can plan accordingly. A system that allows for varying team and allows for everyone to have fun, but yet remain competitive with the players they like playing with. Yes, meta players will exist, but I hope this system discourages some players from this drone playstyle. Maybe I yapped a whole bunch of nothing and nobody will see this or agree, or maybe I'm cooked. Just venting some frustration. I'm going to stick to all my Canucks team because that's how I want to have fun. Your last statement here. I'm going to stick to my all Canucks team because that's how I want to have fun. As much as people harp on everyone has the same team or everyone uses the same line, all of that, I want it to be understood that if that's how people have fun, let them. Myself, I like chasing after the best team because I think it gives me a big enough advantage online to try and compete above my, weight class now. But I also like the thought of working towards earning the best cards in the game. That's how I have fun. I don't like sitting and theory crafting tons of crazy lineup combos. It's just not for me. I like just playing online. And I think that as much as people get upset that everyone uses the same players, if everyone's using the same players, there's a reason why. And if they're playing a lot, then whether they want to admit it or not, they're having fun. So I agree with you, but I think that it's gone too far the other way and that people are upset about how people play. There's no different than people having theme teams, right? Like, I think that that's just the way gaming is now, right? Like, everyone just, has the. It's like not allowed to play the game the way you want. It's like you got to do this, this, and this. And if you do that, then I'm mad at you. And it becomes a vicious circle, I think. Killing Time says, we need a Cup Chase collectible set each week like the Champs gets collectible sets every week with an 83 in it. Offline is a very small chance at 83 or above, as to Champs 83s every week. Okay, number one, Champs should be the most rewarding thing in the game. I've said this a number of times. I think that the top-end players in the game, talking the best of the best of the best, whether you want to admit it or not, their ability to beat the best players in the world or just hang with them is the most difficult thing to do in this game, outside of the Draisaitl moments, right? So they should be rewarded as such. And I don't think that the top end of Hut Champs is rewarded nearly enough for what they actually are able to accomplish. Their rewards for Hut Champs should be more than offline Cup Chase. It's not about the skill. And I'm not diminishing saying offline players shouldn't get rewarded. I want you guys to just consider this. To play Hut Champs and do well, first of all, you have to be amazing at the game. That takes thousands of hours. It just does. But outside of that, you have Wednesday to Sunday night. Okay, you have a 5-day window, which is a lot to play 20 games. Okay, squad battles. Cup Chase, you can do at your own pace. More importantly, once you play a Hut Champs game, you're locked in. You have to win that game. You have to finish it. If you get busy, pause the game. You can walk away. I feel like that's something that is not considered in the argument for offline players towards online things. So your reward should be a little bit more diminished than Hut Champs. I'm not saying that the reward should not be better for Cup Chase. I'm just saying that in the comparison that people get, hey, like Hut Champs players get this, we should get that. I disagree there. I think Hut Champs players should get 85s. A Cup Chase getting 83 for sure. I think at this stage of the game, whatever the overall is, to work towards a master player item. So 83s are what's required, 83 to 85s, right? That should be, if you're on Superstar and you win a Cup Chase season, that should be the thing. It should be 83 and aboves now, right? Going forward and then increase as we go along. I'm very curious to see if Cup Chase doesn't get improved rewards in Season 2. Like, that's a dead mode then. It now enters the realm of ranked because ranked doesn't give any rewards once you've hit your plateau. Hey, Sleeves, crazy idea here. What if XP players, the level up ones plus Celebrating, for example, were wild cards in line combos? Meaning if you were one card away from a line combo, you could use the XP player as filler and it would activate. That would generate diversity in lineups, more of a chance to use your favorite players, and the reward of completing the XP path to use the... Oh my god, I love this. It would definitely get taken advantage of, for sure. But I do love this. I personally think that if every season, every team just got an XP card as opposed to 6, that would change a lot and allow you to make it a little more fun. Because what if you're not a fan of any of the Pacific Division teams or whatever, right? That we got this one. But I actually really like this idea. Very interesting. Martmit says, regarding that issue that crashes the game or messing around with your collection, I think it's worse than what you described here. So I talked about this, people not receiving their cards when completing sets and looking in your collection, things like that. From what I've seen, I talk about it being like a data leak. I don't know how else to describe it, where the menus are operating so slowly to the server that your cards are just not appearing. And if you wait like 10 minutes, they'll show up. When I create a set and I add players to my collection, and go to see my entire collection and keep refreshing. Try it out next time to see if it does the same to you. I get a different number of cards every time I press triangle. And I also notice that when I do a master set, if I refresh enough, I can see the cards I used in the previous set showing up. And eventually, after many, many attempts, I'll see my card there. But if I refresh again, I get back to this completely random nonsense. I thought I was alone having this problem. EA really needs to fix this. It's a nightmare every time I try to complete players in a set. This is that server like data issue where the UI they created has caused issues that they did not foresee, and they need to figure out how to fix this. I don't know if it's because they removed servers in hopes to improve matchmaking times, and maybe with less servers now people are all just hard attacking the popular ones, and now your game operates slower in the background. But this is a major issue, and I hope that they're looking at it. I'm bringing it up to the dev team. So Garrett says, yep, you're right, Sleeves. The poke checks literally just need to be turned up a little bit. If they are going to leave the game, the blazing fast, unreal, protect the puck, back skate, then they need to turn up the poke check. It's a little ridiculous. We have played long enough to know to say it needs to be tuned. But with all that being said, I'm still not sure if they have it set that way because they know Pochek's stats will get stronger and it's set for the long game. I thought about this at the beginning of the game, that it was just attributes being too low. And if it is, they are just late on the tuner for now and too lazy to tune it back down. And the other reason I say this is because the new 89 Crosby, I've noticed his defense. So high overall cards might start poking better. I agree. I agree. I think that there is some attribute issues. I know a lot of people that are using like players that have really low attributes and expecting just the results that they normally would get. Normally with defensive awareness. So lower defensive awareness, like anything below 90, your player like isn't guaranteed to intercept pucks, and that's one. But it could be attributes still. There's been too many times where I've gone into slow motion in replay and seen that when I hit R1, my stick went to the puck. I was in the right position to poke check, and it just skips over. Like it's like an imaginary force field. I don't know what's causing it. I don't know how I can better make it work, but I'm scared to give or to say that, this needs to be fixed and buffed because my experience when they do things like this and they buff something that is deemed not working well, they make it too strong and then that game's broken, right? I've been saying this since the start of the game. If they made stick checks work correctly, so I've talked about this a lot, when you get inside positioning and you stick lift correctly, what's happening is your opponent's not getting like a stun. Their stick comes right back down as if it didn't happen, and they can just carry on. And because you hit A to stop skating, stick lifted, you're just standing there with your pants down. And it ends up being a breakaway or they get by you very easily. If the stick lift was in the game, you could at least get inside body positioning and know that you can strip the puck. Or even when you're behind them, you can strip the puck. Poke checking, I'm fearful that they will just make it so overpowered that it ends up being worse than what we've got. Captain should get a +2, and assistant should get a +1. This is what it used to be. I don't hate this. I just think that what would end up happening is whoever's fastest is just going to get the captain. But I mean, who cares? It's a +1 or a +2. I think that we should be able to name our own captain. I think 100% we should be able to name our own captain. That's something that I hope they add into the game. Hey, Sleeves, I completely understand what you're talking about with champs. I feel like that it feels like I'm better than most of the players, but if they play a certain way, I literally can't play defense against them, and it's frustrating. It makes me lose against players that have no business beating me. For example, I know that an NHL video game isn't going to be totally realistic, but in what world can one player come through 3 of my players' sticks and score, and every time that happens, I just turn my console off? Yeah, like I said, the lack of defensive mechanics available to us is that's what's turning me off this year. I'm still gonna play, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like this is broken, it needs to be fixed, or I'm done. I'm still gonna play, but why I am enjoying it less this year, it's so annoying because offensively I'm really having fun, but defensively, if I go up against someone of my skill level, so high gold, platinum, like in that range, or 12 to 14 wins in champs. So not great, but good in the comparison to the rest of the player base. That's top 5% in the entire player base, okay? Even higher. And I get into a game, I know that I got to sit in front of my net and not move. and that is going to give me the best chance to win. And I can't stand it because I get bored. And if I start chasing and trying to get my players to knock the puck free, there is nothing within my disposal other than incidental contact, meaning I have to just run my players or have them in the way to get the puck back, as opposed to getting inside body positioning, stick lifting them at the right time, poke checking when they go to their forehand too much, and it's like a breakaway the other way. That's what's frustrating for me. And I'm something that I would love is to put stick 'em up on all my players and just try it out, right? Like there's a couple good players, like Pronger, for example, has widely been considered one of the best defensemen in the game, and there might be a reason for that. But I would love to be able to have it on all of my defensemen and see what happens, right? To do a little test like that. Maybe when they come out with more players that have it, maybe I'll give that a shot. But I'm with you here. It has been very frustrating. So a big patch update. It is going live basically at the time that this video is coming out. So when you get home later tonight from work or wherever you are, you should be able to put multiple captains in your lineup, which is going to make team builds interesting. I'm finally going to be able to use Connor McDavid as captain card in my lineup and activate. I might make Yossi and activate the Central Division as my captain boost. Very, very excited to do that. But thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one.